Okay, I know, I just got out of the shower. I'm not like fucking dressed or anything. I just wanted to test out this mic, see what kind of sound I get from it. Backdrop is a dirty kitchen. Love it. Okay, awesome. So you may or may not know that I am a mother of an individual with special needs. Disabled, there's all kinds of different words. You want to keep it down? I'm talking to you. You want to keep it down? I'm trying to record here. Hey. Silly lady. So you may or may not know that I am the mother of an individual with special needs. My daughter just turned 21. So I figured I know maybe a thing or two about being the mother of somebody with special needs. So I wanted to make this video for people that maybe are new to this world, and also for people that maybe you don't have much experience with individuals with special needs and you don't know how to act around them. You don't know what to do. So why is there so much light coming up at my neck? So I'm gonna close that. Okay, it was a car reflection. Anyway, so the first thing that I want to tell you what I learned is that, okay, before my daughter became a person with special needs, it happened when she was 3 months old. She was a baby and she stopped breathing. So due to lack of oxygen to her brain, it resulted in brain damage, aka cerebral palsy. So before my daughter stopped breathing, I didn't have any experience with people with special needs, like, you know, just seeing them here and there. Actually, my BFF, her little brother was disabled, and I went over to her house a couple times when I was a kid, and he was there, but I didn't really engage with him because I didn't know what to do or how to talk to him or what can he understand and yada yada yada. So I did speak to him, but then I didn't engage. I didn't stay around him and engage with him and be like, hey, what's up, dude? So regrettably, I didn't know what to do. So first thing is Mariah, when people see her in public, just go up to her and talk to her. And I've noticed that when I meet other people with special needs, there's all different levels of special needs, right? There's people that can talk to you. There's people that cannot talk to you. There's people with speech devices. There's people with no speech devices. People that can walk. People that can't walk. People that, you know, are in a wheelchair. You know, all kinds of different. So first rule is treat them how you would like to be treated. You can go up to them. There's all different forms of communication. Sometimes it's just a smile. Sometimes it's just a look. Sometimes it's just eye contact. But first of all, they're human beings. So if you're like embarrassed or unsure, it's totally fine. Like, we're used to it. Families of people with special needs, we're used to it. And me and Mariah, I know, and my mom appreciate when people come up and talk to us, and talk to Mariah. And Mariah is sometimes hard to understand for strangers. And I've noticed that if a stranger comes up and speaks directly to her, then she'll answer. And if they don't understand, they'll look at me or my mom, you know, for a translation. So a lot of times you can go up, engage with that person, you know, ask if it's okay. Ask if there's a parent or whatever, but like, hey, what's up, you know? And you don't have to be all like, how are you, you know, like up in their face. Just treat them like you would treat anybody else. Hey, what's up? Or if you want to talk more to them, no problem. Somebody will translate for you. We're used to it. So, you know, if you see like the people are like, please don't come near us, you know, we're like, okay, I won't. But me and Mariah, we are just like anybody else, enjoy engaging with other people, making new friends, stuff like that. So you'll figure it out individually as you see different people, their form of communication. And communication is awesome, right? We're all having this experience. It's all about making friends, connections. So if you so choose, go ahead and say hi like you would to anyone. Okay. Second, this is for parents. And if you're the parent or guardian of a person with special needs, this is the first rule for you. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. First rule. I know it sounds weird, right? Because we're all about the person that we're taking care of, and we want to take care of them. We want to make sure they're okay. It's all about them, you know, we're focusing all of our energy on them. But as a parent, our first fear is what's going to happen to my child if I'm not here, right? Like, you want to prepare them to be okay to be without you. And with a special needs person, it sometimes is not possible for them to do things without help. So you're the first, you know, person. They rely on you. So you're always trying to like focus on them and take care of them and make sure they're okay. But if you're worried about what's going to happen to them if you're not around, you have to take care of yourself in order to take care of them. That's the first rule of humanity. Take care of yourself before you can take care of others. Love yourself, exercise, eat well, so you can be here for a long, long time to take care of them. So take care of yourself, not just physically, mentally. You have to, you know, like do things that are calming, calm yourself so that you can be stress-free. It's really hard to take care of someone else when your mind is moving a million miles a minute and you're thinking of this and you're thinking of that and you can't focus on them, you know, and they feel it. So you have to take care of yourself. Mind, body, spirit, soul, whatever. Second, don't be so hard on yourself. As the parent of a disabled child, I've been doing this for 21 years. I think about things that I should have done, I could have done, I this and that, and like, oh no, I would, you know, stop it. Just do what you can, control what you can, and what you can't, just let it go. Don't let it eat at you. You know, it's not going to help anything to focus your energy on that. Don't give it power. Focus your energy on what you can help now. So there's a lot of things that I was at work and I missed out on stretching her as much as I should, helping her walk, physical therapy, and I'm going to start now. Why so late? I don't know. But I can't, you know, spend all my time thinking about why I didn't do it back then and why I'm going to do it now. You know, just I can't blame myself. So don't blame yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Also, we're not perfect. Parents of disabled children, we're not perfect. Like, you might think like, oh, they're so great. We're just doing what we can, right? So just do what you can. Don't get fixated too much in the past and what you could have done, what might have happened. It's too late. We can't get in that magic time machine and go back and change anything, so we just have to deal with what is presently with us. So knowing that, what we can do with what we have now, a huge help for my daughter in our life, might be a surprise to you, but Velcro. Velcro everything. She has a hard time holding on to things. So Velcro, it's not too constricting. You can change the tightness of it, and you don't have to worry about you putting it too tight and it getting tighter like something with elastic. You don't have to, you can put it as tight or as loose as you want to, and it's not going to really change unless you unvelcro it and redo it. So Velcro is a huge helpful tool in our world. Another one is tape. Yes, there's a lot of things we can do, you know, like able-bodied people, we can hold on to pencils and we can hold on to spoons and we can hold on to things of that nature, but for my daughter, focusing on holding something and the motion to complete an action isn't, it's too many things, right? So she can do the action, but then she'll let go of whatever she's holding. So we found that taping things to her hand, like a Wii remote, a spoon, helps her to be able to do activities and not have to focus on the things that her brain can't control, and focus on the things that she can control. So tape and Velcro, huge helps. We use Velcro for everything. She has a tray on her chair. We use tape to tape her bowl down so that her bowl doesn't move. We use Velcro for toys. We use it for everything. Let's see, what else? We recently found out about something called Aquaplast. Aquaplast is a splinting material that is used medically for, you know, splinting fractures and sprains and things of this nature, making AFOs, which my daughter has AFOs for her legs, but you can buy Aquaplast. It's a little pricey. It comes in squares. Let me show you. So this is the pink Aquaplast. You can get it in all different colors. Sometimes it's perforated. This one is 1/16 of an inch thick. So it's, I think, the thinnest you can get. And they go up in thickness. Like I said, sometimes they're perforated. And I have found that this thin one is good for connecting thicker pieces, because the thicker pieces don't adhere to each other as well. So I'll take a thicker piece for something that's really robust, that I need it to take care of something, and all you do is you cut it into smaller pieces and then you heat it with water. So I'll heat a pan with boiling water and then I'll dip a piece in, and then it's pliable, and then I can mold it to anything I want. So for example, this is what I made for holding her mouthpiece. This is her mouthpiece, which I've also put some pieces of Aquaplast to keep it together, because this mouth part will fall out of the stick. It's not a super, it's not like, it doesn't stay in there good enough. I'm trying to find the words and I can't find them. But I also, magnets, super helpful. So when my daughter is on her chair, she'll have this mouthpiece, and then she puts it down, she puts it right here. I put some magnets in there so that it will just hold it for her. Mouthpiece. So some people's disabilities have to do with, you know, legs, arms, back, neck, whatever. My daughter can't get her fingers to do fine motor things, you know, like how we can text, how we can type, how we can wiggle our fingers. It's harder for her. So when she was younger, I was trying to think of how can I give her something to have more independence, that she doesn't have to rely on us to play with, because if she wanted to do anything, she had to rely on us, you know, play with a toy, play with a ball, play with a stuffed animal. And so I figured maybe a tablet that she could play with, but she still couldn't get her hands to do what they wanted. But she already has a wheelchair that she drives with her head. So then I started thinking about, what if there was some way that she could point with her mouth and play with her tablet, and we'd have to figure out a way to put the tablet stationary. And so we figured that out, and then I looked on Etsy and I found a little store called Shape Dad, and Shape Dad is a dad that developed this mouthpiece, and you can change out the mouth part to different sizes. They have softer ones, but we settled on this one is the best, and you can see her little teeth marks in it, but it goes down to this metal stick, and that is this mouth part and the metal stick are the parts that Shape Dad designed, but it comes with like a little metal sleeve, and it didn't work that great for us, so I modified it to this stylus, and this stylus has a tip that is pretty old, you can see, but I put this stylus on here, like I cut off the end cap, and this stylus has a little screw. It's threaded, so you can, she runs out of these stylus tips pretty quickly, probably like once a month. She'll rub off all of this conductive material, and then it will expose the rubber piece underneath. So we just buy more from Amazon and then replace it. So that's how Aquaplast and this mouthpiece helped us. In school, they really tried to, you know, get her to be able to hold a pencil and work on writing like that, and we were kind of like, okay, you know, like that's what children do. And so for a long time, we did that, and it was kind of like, I don't want to say never going to happen, right? But she can learn quickly, but physically, the movements of writing were tough, right? So while she's trying to learn this, all of the alphabet and everything, writing wasn't really gonna happen at that time for her. So I wish that I had thought about changing her curriculum of what she's gonna learn based on her abilities back then, but I didn't think about it. We were just kind of like in the flow, you know, like kids write, she needs to learn how to hold a pencil, which is not true. And with the development of tablets during her life, you know, a lot has changed. So try to adapt what your child can do instead of trying to get them to do what usually children do. Does that make sense? You know, like if that's not working, try something different, something that's fun, something that they can do so that they can focus on learning the things like the alphabet and everything else. We don't have to, you know, kind of drive that physical part of education in so much, like holding a pencil and all of that stuff. So I wish that I had taught her typing when she was younger, which is another thing we need to work on. Why? Because I don't know. Can't ask myself that question, but we're going to now. That's all I can focus on. Let's see, what else? Stretching is important. I should have stretched her a lot more, and I'm stretching her now, but I should be stretching her a lot more. So it would have helped early on in life if I had stretched her more often, kept her pliable for what we're going to work on now is walking and independence, because she can walk, she can move her feet, she knows the movements, she just needs strengthening, you know, like strengthening exercises. She also needs muscle elongating stretches. So if I had stretched her more often her whole life, especially when she was younger, she wouldn't have kind of those muscular atrophies that she has today. So stretch, stretch, stretch. Also, building a network, building a community, making friends. I really wish that we had done that while she was in school, because me and my mom are the front runners of her life, you know, like we're the ones that take care of everything, but we didn't really work on connecting with other parents, building friendships for Mariah. So now that she's out of school, we don't really have any peers of her age group to, you know, talk to, contact, anything like that. So I would say that's super important, is building connections for your child, keeping those connections, and having people that they can engage with for the rest of their lives. Because now it's just back to me and the family and my mom, and she needs to go out into the community to build new connections. So try to do that while they're in school. It's a whole lot easier, let me tell you. What else? Strengths. Yes, there's things that your child cannot do, but there's things that your child can do. And just because they can't do those things doesn't mean they never will be able to. Just, there's things that at this moment your child cannot do. Focus on the things that your child can do. Give them a lot of support for those things. It makes it a whole lot more fun and a whole lot easier. And praise them when they do new things. Encourage them to try new things. That's just basic parenting 101, right? But we kind of forget when our child is disabled, and we can get a little down, like, oh, my kid can't do this, my kid can't do that. But don't think about that. You can't change that. Focus on what your kid can do, your child can do, and work from there. It keeps it a whole lot more grounded and easier mentally to deal with, less stressful. What else? Mariah makes a lot of games that are really good for her fine motor skills, mentally, her muscles, goals that she works on in her ISP, which is an individualized service plan. You'll hear that a lot if you have a child with special needs. So when your child likes to do something or makes things up and likes to repeatedly engage in certain things that are good for their muscles, encourage that, set it up, because it's real easy for Mariah to be focused on her iPad and just play with iPad all day, but she will sometimes play with other things that require her to move her hands and cross the midline and strengthen her muscles and work on her fine motor skills with her fingers, and that's awesome. Encourage that, because it's important for their whole lives. And I know that it can seem a little hopeless, right? Sometimes, I don't want to use that word, but it can seem like, oh my gosh, my child is going to need this forever, and I don't think they'll ever be able to do this. Don't ever let that story get into your head. Get that out of your head. Nobody knows. No medical community, no doctor, no stranger. Nobody knows what our bodies are capable of, our minds are capable of. The doctors didn't think that Mariah would be able to talk or walk based on her brain damage MRI scan when she was a baby in the hospital. And they told me if she couldn't by the time she was 2, then she probably wouldn't be able to. And they were wrong. She's very smart. She does not self-propel her body, so she doesn't walk as of yet, but she is sharp as a tack, super smart, great sense of humor. She learned the English language without writing it. She knows proper English. She learns new words all the time. She's a smartass. And so they did another MRI scan on her when she was like 6 or 7, I can't remember. And I wasn't there, but my mom was, and she said that they were amazed based on her brain damage and the parts that are dead and inactive, how much she can do right now and that she shouldn't be able to do based on the parts of her brain that are inactive. So the body, the brain, spirit, there's no limit to what they can do, and no medical doctor can understand everything. So don't let those things get you down. Don't let what some doctor told you be your story. You make it. You control it. You picture it, you manifest it, whatever. You pray, you can change it. Your child can change it. Mariah couldn't bend her hand like this. She couldn't bend her elbow and bring a spoon or anything to her mouth for a long time. And then we had an occupational therapist come, Lorraine. Hey, Lorraine. And they worked on that movement for, I would say, 2 years, and keeping a spoon, bending a spoon. We were trying to do like just a regular spoon forever, and Lorraine showed us modification. Modifications are huge. You have to modify almost everything to fit your child's life. Here is the spoon that Mariah uses, and we put it on her hand like this. We have a little, we have some Velcro right here, and there's a little strip of scuba material, neoprene, that we put on it around, goes around her wrist and then across this, and then we use tape to tape her fingers down because she can't keep her fingers down while she's feeding herself, and she doesn't like to have her fingers in the way while she's trying to eat, and she doesn't like her fingers moving all over, so we tape her fingers down. So there's another part where tape is huge, but then now she can feed herself with this modified spoon. So modifications, hey, if you have to do it, don't worry about it. Here's her special bowl. That this one is made by puku.com, and originally the whole top of it is this high all the way around. Well, that was too high for Mariah, so we ended up cutting it down so that she could get her spoon in there just fine. Food, we just cut it into small pieces. She can feed herself, no problem. This is a suction cup, but it doesn't stay good enough, so we end up taping the suction cup to her tray. We modify everything for her to be independent, and it works. So there's a lot of things you might have to modify. Things that didn't occur to me for a long time. Mariah's sense of hearing is very good. It's way better than I had ever imagined. So she didn't like to go to the movies because it's loud and it scares her. And then I figured out if I put in earplugs, then she would watch the movie. I didn't figure this out till she was about 16. So 16 years of being horrified and loud noises, poor thing. But she started watching movies after she got earplugs in her ears. Not so bad, doesn't scare her anymore. Water. This is another thing that happened around the time that she was 15 or 16. We're always constantly like forgetting that she needs water, you know. Oh my God, when's the last time you drank some water? Have some water, have some water. And she's like, oh, leave me alone. So I figured out, what if she could be in charge of her own water intake? She'd probably like that way more, and then we wouldn't have to worry. She could just drink whenever she wants to. So I set up a little camel pack that comes out with a metal thing to her mouth. Move it out of the way. When it gets in the way, move it to her mouth, and she can just drink water whenever she wants to. Why didn't I think of that a long time ago? What else? Comfort. There's a lot of different things that we have to do so that she's comfortable. Mainly, she's sitting in her chair all day, so making sure that she changes positions, has soft cushions, she isn't uncomfortable. We fix her. If she gets a little crooked, fix her whenever she asks us to. If your child can't ask you to, you know, maybe look at their positioning every once in a while and change it for them, because if you think about sitting there for a long time, how uncomfortable that would be in the same position. Imagine how it is for them, which is another awesome teachable moment is sit in their chair if you fit in it, or just sit in a chair for a long time, you know, for an amount of time that you choose, and pretend like you can't do anything for yourself. Picture that. Think of what it would feel like, you know? Then it helps you kind of realize what they're going through and gives you a lot more patience and, I don't know, insight, I guess. So that's all I can think of for now. I hope that this video was helpful, informative, and let's see how this microphone did. I'm interested.